everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars.
What the hell was that?
Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I was trying to make my voice crack like I was going through puberty or something, and it didn't come off right. The bit failed. Sorry.
God damn! I was like, oh. It sounded fine before we started taping. I don't know what the hell.
No, it was a failed spot. So
fair enough.
I'll try again next time. So yes, hello, welcome to All Things Star Wars. This is episode 57. Seven, yes. And what are we talking about this week, Dave?
This week is all solo all the time because we're inside a week. We're inside a week of solo, so
yeah,
it's time to do our pre-solo kind of gearing up show, and get ourselves ready to see it.
Yep, and by the time you guys hear this, I'm planning on releasing this on Wednesday night, Wednesday the calendar looking 23rd, because I'm traveling on Thursday the 24th. I won't be in Mississippi. I'm going to be heading back to Jersey, as we talked about, what was it, last week or a couple weeks ago. I'm actually going back for Memorial Day, so I'm very, very excited about that. And we're going to see Solo together. So this week we're going to kind of finish up talking about Solo predictions, whatnot, and do all of that stuff. But before we get into that, we've got a couple day in Star Wars to deal with. So let's go ahead and roll right along. Today,
I should have looked it up. I don't know why I let this surprise me every time.
I think it's kind of better this way, just to not have you prepared, so you can hear and you can be like, oh, that's very interesting.
Well, most of the time I'm not prepared anyway, so it works out.
Exactly. So it's all part of the show. So the day we're recording this is May 20th. And on this day in 1982, principal photography for Return of the Jedi wraps on schedule and on budget with the speeder bike scene in California. So yeah, nice. the last thing they filmed was, you can't really see it here on the app, but it's fucking Leia with the speeder guy bumping into her. And
I can't help but laugh at we haven't covered it yet on the podcast, I don't think, but for Family Guy Star Wars, the speeder bike scene.
Oh yeah, in the Empire.
Yeah,
or something dark side.
They're on 10 speeds. Spoiler alert. They're on 10 speeds, and it's all the same. It's like the same exact scene, except they're on 10-speed bikes. It's fucking hilarious. I can't even see a speeder without thinking of it. Yeah. So very good.
Yeah, and it's unique to think about this kind of stuff too, that they film these movies completely out of order, you know, and it's all based on production and when they can get the right people in the right spots at the right time. So you think about it, they had the scene with Luke fighting Vader filmed before they filmed the speeder bike scene. And it's weird. And as an actor, I wonder how you kind of get yourself into that when everything is happening out of sequence. It must take a lot of discipline, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's their job. I mean, just like, I'm sure people would wonder how the hell we pull off some of the shit that we do, at a professional level. It's just like, yeah, that's, if anybody told you like, hey, you're going to have to listen to 3 to 5 radios at any given time and be able to listen to everything that's going on and transmit message traffic and write everything down as you're saying it and do all that stuff, like, people would think you're nuts, but
yeah,
we did it for years. So
yep, fuck it, we'll do it live.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Nice.
I didn't even try. Sorry.
Sidebar.
Okay.
We were doing something in class a couple days ago, and they were rotating, having people go up to this projector that was projecting a computer screen up so the whole class could see. And we all had like these specific things we had to do, like networking shit. Anyway, long story short, my turn went up and I forgot to write down the instructions for what I had to do. And as I'm walking to the front of the class, I'm like, I probably should have written this down. Fuck it, I'll do it live. And like everybody burst out laughing. I did the whole do it live bit, and everybody was fucking dying.
It's great.
It is funny because we say it on here like every fucking week.
Yeah, but, at least 2-3 times a week.
Yeah, but I got the class rolling with that bit, so that was good.
Right. While we're on a sidebar, so
sure.
What the fuck is behind you?
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. It's farther down in the notes. Don't worry. It's
all right.
Everything happens for a reason, Dave.
It's all fair enough. I'm like squinting at trying to figure out what the fuck that is behind your, or in front of your show curtains back there.
So anyway, our other day in Star Wars that I wanted to talk about is this coming May the 25th, which is Friday, the release day of Solo, and it is also the anniversary of the release of the original Star Wars. On May 25th in 1977, Star Wars is released in North America.
The day it all started.
I know.
It all started.
The thing that put us here.
That should be the holiday. I mean, honestly, that should be the holiday. I mean, the May the 4th thing, it's catchy, it's whatever, but the 25th of May should be the day.
Yeah, and you think about it, maybe that's why they released Solo this week instead of, what was it, 3 weeks ago on May the 4th, like we kind of debated before, because it's being released on the 31st anniversary? No, 41st anniversary.
Yeah, because we kind of did a 40th anniversary show.
Yeah.
This time last year. Interestingly enough, and we might get into it a little bit later, but you think about how well Avengers did in the box office, and now Deadpool apparently is killing it.
Oh, is it? I haven't been following that stuff.
According to Facebook, that could, like, I haven't seen it yet, so I haven't seen either of those movies yet. I haven't had time. So it's one of those things where this timing might actually work out really, really well for them. Do I think it's going to get the kind of numbers that an Avengers movie or the second Deadpool movie is going to get? No, absolutely not. However, I think it's going to, those movies will have been out for long enough where it'll get the initial box office stuff out of the way so that it'll move it into Memorial Day weekend. It'll have an extra day of stats because it's a long weekend. So
yeah, that's true. That always helps. That's why back in the day, at least, the biggest of the big budget movies that would be released over the summer would normally happen over Memorial Day because you get that extra time to make all the extra money and all that bullshit.
Right. And God forbid if it Memorial Day, it's like it's raining that particular day. What are people going to do? Some people still have their parties. Other people cancel and they go to the movies. So anyway, it's interesting.
Yep. But. So we'll roll right into our weeks. First of all, if you listened to last week's episode, you heard Dave give me a bunch of shit about not calling my sister on her birthday back in 1999, the day Phantom Menace was released.
Right.
And when I called my sister on her birthday this year, which was yesterday, and we talked about it, I mentioned about the podcast and how you gave me shit. So she went back and she actually listened to the show. She doesn't listen to the podcast. She's not into Star Wars, obviously. And
she subscribes and downloads, right?
Hopefully. So we'll
please
see.
Do that.
But she listened to it. She said she cried at first, and then she said she was just dying laughing after that because I guess of all that shit you were giving me. So she's like, "Oh yeah, that Dave guy's really funny." And then of course it always comes back. Everybody loves Dave. So
yes, I am.
So I figured I would tell you that
I'm here for you, Jason's sister.
Yes. So
who apparently remains nameless.
Her name is Becca, and I just want to say happy birthday again, even though it's a day after her birthday now. But I did call her, and I texted her like at 3 a.m. that morning too, so I was the first one. But anyway.
Good job.
Also, we were talking about last week, I was talking about Cobra Kai, the TV series and everything. Well, apparently right about at the same time, they announced that it's been renewed for a season 2 already. Evidently, it's wildly successful. It
got the All Things Star Wars podcast push.
Yeah. So apparently that's what did it. And so now it's still go and watch it and give it likes and give it views, listeners. But yeah, I was like talking about just a week ago how, I really hope they do a season 2. Well, it's on now. So hooray.
Nice. Good job. I still haven't watched any of it.
Yeah. Besides that, so you were mentioning the thing behind me.
Yeah. What?
That is a power supply for a desktop computer because couple days ago, you know how I mentioned some technical difficulties I've been having, which has caused the podcast to get released a little bit later in the week than I had anticipated.
Right.
Well, it was Monday or Tuesday, maybe Tuesday. I get back from the gym, and before I go to work after the gym, I sit down, eat breakfast, and just fuck around on my computer for like 30 minutes before I hop in the shower and go to class. So I'm sitting here, I sit down with my breakfast, sit my bowl of oatmeal down, sit my coffee down. I take my first bite and I hear a fucking boom. I'm like, what the fuck? And everything on my computer goes dark immediately. I'm like, what was that? So at first I'm thinking, okay, maybe it just blew a fuse or something, or blew like the surge protector. Then I smelled it. I'm like, oh no, there's something burning down there. Thankfully, I have years of troubleshooting experience with both computers and other hardware, and come to find out my power supply fucking exploded on me. So
Wow.
that's the old power supply sitting on the dresser over there. I went to Best Buy, bought a new one, and changed it out, and we're good to go now. But I was down and without a computer for a couple of days.
So this was. Do you have your desktop with you? I thought you just had your laptop with you.
No, I have them both actually. My laptop, it's kind of on the fritz. It's
Really
dying.
the giant Malawi laptop.
Yes, yes, that one.
That's an inside story. That's for another time.
Yeah, but yeah. So the desktop is what I've been primarily using, and
all right.
Yeah, when my power supply exploded, I'm like, oh no, this isn't good.
How dirty was it? I mean, did it just?
It had a little bit of dust in it, but it wasn't like really bad. I've had situations where I've had computers that got really dusty.
Yeah, you hear the fan starts squealing and shit. You know, so none of those indicators just kind of popped on you.
Mm-hmm. So it's the same power supply this computer's had since I bought it like 2 years ago. So shit happens, but I got a Corsair, so it's good to go. But I'm just glad to know my computer skills are still there for actually changing hardware components and all that. It was pretty easy.
Wasn't that the beginning of the block that you're in? Like, or the beginning of the training that you're in? Weren't you doing like A+ type shit, or was that just
It was strictly like classroom stuff. There was no hands-on, like actually changing parts. It's like, this is the monitor, this is a keyboard, this is the hard drive, this is what this does.
Dear sweet Lord.
Yeah. I've only had that basic computer class like a dozen times.
What's funny is, as another sidebar, with I was updating I went and saw the VA for my vocational rehab, and they wanted me to update my USA Jobs profile, right? So one of the things I decided to add was that, that I was A+ certified. My A+ certification was from 1999. Do you know what we were doing to compute, work on computers in 1999? I mean, it was ridiculous.
Hey, that's when I first learned to work on computers. Was it around 98, 99? That's when I bought my first desktop and I changed my first video card and all that stuff.
Yeah, I started I think I've talked about it on a podcast before, but I started working for this company called CompuCom, which is basically like the movie out of Office Space, with the 5 different bosses and fucking ridiculousness. I could do a whole podcast just on that the couple years I worked there. But we went in there as, basic, configuration guys, and you kind of worked your way up to like, okay, now if you want to make more money, you need to get A+ certified. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'd been working there for almost a year by the time I got A+ certified. And and then you do all the warranty certifications and all this other bullshit. And it's like, oh, now you're a level 2 technician. We'll pay you more money. So, and then it all went to hell, and I joined the fucking, active duty. So, but yeah, fucking, there you go, man. Your skills at cracking into and decertifying your warranty to be able to change out your power supply. I
mean, it's either that or no computers. So the choice was pretty obvious.
I agree. So. Well, nicely done. So, yeah, but I still say that, like, okay, you're saying it's, there's a power supply, but I guess it's the box that the other power supply was in is like open. I mean, from this angle, if the YouTube audience is looking, look behind Jason's shoulder when he talks. Hang on. Say something.
Something right there. That thing, that box.
So that's the box open. Like, it looked like a lamp or like a television tube or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck is that back there? So, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, anyway, that's the box for the new one. So
right, very good.
Anyway, besides that, I've been up to typical Jersey GTL, gym, tan, and laundry. A little less tanning than gym and laundry.
As Scott Rasmussen had said, wow, may have to sunglasses so my eyes don't get ruined by that shine off of Jason's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Scott and Isaac Sipe on the chat.
Hello, gentlemen.
Yes, and you're both excited to be on, apparently.
Excellent. And I'm excited because, like we mentioned at the top of the show, I am coming home this week. And hopefully I'm still going to have a ride when I get there after
Yeah,
midnight on
absolutely.
Thursday. Yeah. All right, cool.
I love the
So,
airport. I'll be
yeah.
there fucking 2 hours early, just sitting there.
Yeah. Dave's making the sacrifice. He's staying up past midnight just to pick me up at the airport.
Yeah, I'll try not to eat anything.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty much my week. What about you?
So here in Jersey, like anybody, I practically the entire, I think most of the East Coast has been getting barraged with rain. It's been, I mean, you're talking in some places, I think down like North Carolina and those areas are getting like a foot of rain over the past week. It's insane how much it's just the amount of rain. Like, so Tuesday, we taped Sunday. So Tuesday, it was like 85 degrees, super humid. Like you knew it was a thunderstorm was coming type weather.
Mm-hmm.
This sun didn't come back out till today.
Dang.
That's it. So it's been raining nonstop. I mean, I think here we got like 5-6 inches of rain, maybe a little bit more.
Sure.
So because of all that rain, like I needed to clean out the gutters. Had to get done.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to a point where it was Friday, and I'm like, I got this fucking gutters, man. The water is just pouring out of the gutters,
Right.
and I can't do it. I have to fucking clean them out. So I had, my daughter Kate, she's in a jacket and a pair of slides. For the kids know what slides are. And I've got her holding the ladder so I can get on the fucking roof and get all the fucking helicopter maple bullshit out of the everything's clogged up. There's fucking leaves. It was just fucking gross. It was raining the whole time, and I'm like doing my best not to fall off the fucking roof and die. But I got them cleaned out, so it's fucking great. Yeah, and then and Saturday it rained a whole bunch, and then today it like rained in the morning, and all of a sudden it was like this little creak of like, what is that? Is that the sun? Like, and then the sun came out. It was like, holy shit! Have to do everything right now, like the lawn, pick up dog shit, moist, awful, soggy dog shit. Get the fucking lawn mowed. Throw down some fertilizer and everything else because it's supposed to rain again. Over the next couple of days. Or actually, no, I think the next couple of days is okay. Then it's like a little bit more rain, but just so much rain. I was so happy to just be out in the sunshine. I am like one of those people that like when I'm sunshine deprived, I'm like it just makes me sad.
Kristen's the same way.
Yeah, I
tough to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, it's a real thing. It is a real thing. Like when it's just raining and it's fucking miserable, you can keep yourself occupied as much as you want. You have all this stimulation with video games and fucking movies and whatever. The bottom line is some days, you just want to go outside. You just want to see the sun. So thankfully that happened today. But in the last 24 hours, it's been like yesterday like afternoon, we decided that we're going to paint our bedroom. And so that was like furniture moving, spackling, doing all this stuff. And then like, go get a can of paint, fucking throw paint on the walls, move the furniture back, do all the finishing work and all this flurry of activity till like 11 o'clock last night where like you got everything put together. It was like 12 years living in this house, never painted the bedroom.
Wow.
And we never painted the bedroom when we lived in base housing either. So it was like the first time we've actually like slept in our like primary bedroom that would actually like looks like we've put some work into it.
Yeah.
So
you slept in it the night that you painted it?
Yeah. Well, I did the windows open and some really, really good cross ventilation. The only problem was it would like, I have this little, hydrometer, in the room. It was like 85% humidity.
Oof.
While we're trying to get everything down. But, you buy good paint, you buy good one coat paint to throw up there. Once it dries, you're fucking good. Yeah. And that's what we did. So we had the fans running and everything else. And I didn't feel like sleeping in the guest room, honestly. So got that all done.
I wouldn't want to either.
and just fucking, painting is the worst fucking exercise ever. It's horrible. Kathy did most of the prep. She did the taping and everything else, and she did the cutting in because apparently I don't know how to do it, or I don't do it to her satisfaction. I make too much of a mess. So, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not humiliated or anything else by it. But so we get to paint and moving furniture and everything else, and then did that. Got up this morning and ended up doing all the lawn shit. Moving shit around, get this out. Got to get this cleaned up and do this and run around, put that away.
Is this like all just in a frenzy before the rain comes back kind of thing?
I expected like this. Usually it's dark clouds and everything else coming. I was like, fuck, all right, I'm getting this done just in time. It rained literally for like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, and then it was done. And then the sun came back out. I'm like, fuck me. But at least it's done. At least it's done. I did the front and the back, and I got and then they come and pick up the lawn clippings on Monday. A lot of this is all Star Wars related, believe it or not. No, it's not really, but this is what I've been doing. All of these things that I'm saying, you know what they have to do with Star Wars? Nothing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I will say though that I do have something like to display. So so toys we've talked about on the show, Toys R Us's are closing.
Yes.
And I haven't been yet. I hadn't been to the Toys R Us. It was one of those things where I feel like the deals aren't really going to be there. And
Kristen went like not long after the initial announcement and was looking for like some clearance sales, and they really weren't dropping prices very much. So I don't know if they're like incrementally dropping stuff.
I think what they do is they basically are like, okay, it's like anything else that you discount in retail. It's like, all right, we're going to put a discount on this, but the actual retail price is there's usually a markdown when it gets to the store because the store buys in bulk. So they're able to mark it down to a certain percentage to be competitive, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
So I think what Toys R Us is like, okay, this is what we paid for it. Or this is what the actual retail price is. And we're going to take like 40% off of that. So, but in this particular case, my mother-in-law went over to the Toys R Us and she brought back this.
Ooh.
I don't
know. Little Disney Infinity action. Yeah, very nice.
Some Infinity action. You can see who the characters are. It's Anakin and Ahsoka. Now, this is for the 360. Yeah, your two favorites, exactly. But we talked about it in a previous podcast. The detail work on the little characters is actually really, really cool. It's really good.
It's great.
I mean, and this is the whole thing. This is the whole game, right? It's the whole starter pack.
Yeah, it's the game, the portal, and a couple characters.
How much do you think this cost?
I mean, original retail price was like $70, but if I had to guess, I'd say 10.
$2.39.
Damn.
So this comes home. Mother-in-law brings this home. Like, that's very, very cool. Probably never going to hook it up to the Xbox. I doubt that the Infinity stuff's backwards compatible, but I like the figures. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't we go over there and see what they have? Sure. Just for grins and giggles. We were like in between. We had finished painting. I think we'd finished painting by then. I don't know. I don't remember. All this shit happened yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, basically. So anyway, get over there, get rain jackets on because it's still fucking raining, and go over to the Toys R Us, and it's mildly crowded. It's not that bad. It's been closing forever. So
yeah,
I drop Kathy off at the door. I park the car. I come out. She's gone. Apparently, she's on the phone FaceTiming your wife, showing what's still in the store.
Yeah, it's funny because I called Kristen not long after they finished their FaceTime. She's like, "Yeah, I was just FaceTiming with Kathy." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it was funny. So I'm walking through and I'm finding everything with Star Wars on it and trying to see if there's any kind of deals. Get into the Star Wars aisle. Well, first of all, when you walk right into Star Wars, so the one by me, like when you first walk in and they have like this time of year they'd have like a bunch of pool shit, right? They'd have
it's the seasonal stuff.
Exactly.
Like at the front, yeah.
They've got 2 fucking shelves filled with these.
Really?
Wii U versions, the PS3 version, the Xbox 360 version, shelves full of them. So I get my hands on every single one to see if I can get a different character. Nope, they're all the same. Okay.
The same starter pack with Anakin and Ahsoka?
Yes. So I go back, wander through the thing, look at all the stuff. Lego Star Wars, Legos, they're only taking 20% off of any Legos. Because I guess the markup's probably still really high on the Legos. Yeah. So I get over to the Star Wars section and I'm looking around. They had like this Darth Vader 40th anniversary thing. I guess it's like it was like an 8-inch figure. Or it might have been a 6-inch figure, but it was like carded like the original one was. And
I've seen those. Yeah, like they're in the old style Kenner packaging, but they're bigger.
But it's bigger. It's like scaled up so that you could have this like collection. And it would have been like $17. What I forgot to mention was I had a $20 budget. I was told that you can spend no more than $20.
This was your wife telling you this?
Yes. This was which is
she's the primary breadwinner in the house now, so I guess that really is her decision to make.
You didn't have to say that shit out loud. Go fuck off. You know what? Find your fucking ride, bitch.
Oh no.
Anyway, he's right though. Anyway, so $20 is the budget,
right?
And
here you go, Davey. You could go spend $20 at Toys R Us.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, it's exactly basically what it was. So I'm going through the store and I see the Darth Vader thing that's like $17 after the 40% off. I'm like, so I put it in my hand and I'm walking around looking at other stuff. And they had like the only other thing I was really interested in, they had like the that in Rogue One, that weird TIE fighter that they had, it was like only had it had the pod and it had the 2 wings kind of came down flat. Like
it looked like an interceptor, but it had the flat pods.
Yeah, so they had those there, and it would have been like $24 after the discount, and it's like nope, it's over budget. I'm not going to do it. Plus, I really didn't want it. I was hoping to walk in there and find like this like shout out to those the Sinister Six bounty hunter guys to go out there and they post on Facebook like. Stuff in the area like, oh, holy shit, look at this. I found this in this store.
Yeah, this is at this Target in this town right now.
Yeah, so, and mostly in Philly. But while we're shouting them out, they were just at they had a booth set up at Wizard World for Comic-Con.
Yeah, and of course I missed it because I'm not fucking there. If I was in Jersey, we'd both be going to that thing.
Yeah, exactly. So more to follow on that. But anyway, the longest story short, or the longest story ever, not any shorter. I ended up not buying anything. Ironically,
oh really?
If you can believe it, I didn't buy anything. Nothing really caught my eye. Aside from the land speeder, which I would, if you were 130 pounds, I would have totally bought it. It would have been worth it to have you fucking rolling around in this fucking the Mattel sized land speeder.
Yeah, when you sent me that text and you're like, "How much do you weigh? Do you weigh 130 pounds?" I'm like, "What?" First of all, why are you asking me this? And no, I don't weigh 130 pounds. I wish.
How'd I ask the randomest question ever?
Yeah. Because I had no idea where you were coming from at that point.
Yeah, no. So anyway, the moral of that whole story is in that same aisle, they had more Infinity shit. And I just happened to look at the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they had no bullshit. They had at least 200 of those Infinity characters.
Just the starter packs?
Just the starter packs with Anakin and Ahsoka.
So none of the loose characters, none of the other
no loose characters. They had all sorts of fucking what's that other game that had the same similar thing? It was like
Skylanders.
Yeah, that. They had a whole fucking aisle. Could have filled a tractor trailer full of that shit. But you could have filled half a tractor trailer with the fucking Ahsoka and Anakin figures. I can't believe. I mean, I legitimately put my hands on every one of those trying to find a different one. Like maybe I'll find one that's different in here. Nope, none. So it was a fruitless effort. However, I can say I made it into the Toys R Us before it closed, and managed to walk out of there and not buy a single thing.
Well, maybe like the last few days they'll fucking put everything on a super discount and just
maybe
trying to get rid of it. Like your Legos. I mean,
The
I'm not
Legos, maybe I get in there for the Legos, but they didn't have very much Lego Star Wars shit. Not in the one in Deptford anyway.
Yeah.
They had some smaller pieces, but like not like the big Millennium Falcons or anything like that. Nothing that I'd be interested in. It was kind of disappointing, to be honest with you. But anyway, that was
the story of Toys R Us for the last 20 years.
Yeah, right.
Disappointing.
So that was my week.
All right. So I guess we ready to hop right into our solo conversation because we've got a bunch of just random shit that we're going to throw out there, including.
Well, no, we got to talk about the seating assignments for the movie.
Okay, yeah, this is part of solo too. So when they went live, I told the story about how I woke up in the middle of the night, bought the tickets and all that. It bought us 9 tickets, so 5 for my family and 4 for you.
Right.
And we're basically like an entire row right in the middle of the theater because I was the first person to buy tickets for that theater at that time. So very excited about that. And a couple days ago, I decided I'm going to go back into my Fandango app because I bought them on Fandango. And I'm just going to look at the seating chart again and just kind of get a feel for exactly where in the theater we're going to be. I pull up my Fandango app and it's like, we're sorry, we no longer support this version of iOS. You now have to update to iOS like 10 or whatever to
what
view
version of iOS are you on? Jesus Christ.
I'm still on 9.3.
Oh, for fuck's sake, dude.
Because no, this is what fucking Apple does. They make you update your iOS and eventually and then this was even revealed months ago that they fucking throttle back your performance when you update the higher iOSs with an older phone. Because I have an original iPhone 6 Plus. And I tell you what, without updating the iOS at all, runs like a fucking champ. This thing has been great. I've had it for over 3 years now. I think I'm coming up on 4 years. Isn't that when these came out, the 6s? Anyway, yeah, I think it was about 4 years ago this November. And it still works fucking perfectly. And I was going to just keep using it until it fucking dies. Well, now I can't get to my fucking Fandango app and see our tickets because of the fucking iOS thing. So what's going to fucking happen? I know it. I'm going to update the goddamn iOS and then the phone's going to run like shit. And I'm going to have to buy a new goddamn phone. And I'm kind of pissed about that.
Actually, a lot of, I mean, I had an iPhone 6 that I updated all the way through to iOS 11. I'm almost positive, and it ran fine.
So where's that phone now?
Somebody, one of the kids has it.
Oh, so you've upgraded it.
I updated. Well, my whole thing with the iPhone is when they update the camera, because I take so many fucking pictures. You know me. Mm-hmm. I take so many fucking pictures with my phone, especially that. Gotcha. That I want the better camera. I would have honestly, I probably would have went with the Plus version because the phone that my wife has now, the 7 Plus has like this really, really good camera on it. And I'm not going for the fucking iPhone X. I mean, fuck that. It's too expensive.
No.
But that has a really, really good camera on it. Our friend Nick Bolko has one. Got to see it in action when we were in Reno on my Finney trip. So it totally, but that's why. I mean, I'll get to a point where it's not necessarily performance based, where it's more like I want the better camera because I'm taking pictures with this thing constantly.
Yeah.
So anyway, you may notice a difference. I mean,
oh, I'm sure I will. I am 100% positive I'll notice a difference.
Only because you're being so positive about it. You know, you're obviously it's going to.
It's been running great up to this point. Fucking flawless. It still runs like it was brand new.
See, and this is a perfect segue into going into solo because you have something that runs perfectly, in Star Wars, and we're going to insert solo.
Yeah.
Solo software version 11.0, and you who knows? It could be better. It could run better. It could make your whole world better, or it could make you feel like the worst person ever and you want to throw things.
Okay, well let's get into this then, because like I said, by the time this episode airs, the audio version will be a day away from the premiere of Solo. So what are your thoughts up to this point? And have you been, really the question is, have you been following all of the promotional shit and more trailers, TV spots, the Rotten Tomato scores, any of that stuff? Have you been?
So I the only part I really saw about the Rotten Tomatoes thing was that they take that down. I think we have a note about that. We're going to talk about later. There was like a whole debacle with the Rotten Tomatoes thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, me personally, all I've been really doing is watching the stuff that's available on StarWars.com. And, you know, there's been a lot of videos that have come out, like some insider videos. It's regurgitating a lot of the same stuff. You know, every once in a while you get a new image here and there, you know, new little quip. You know, I watched the Star Wars show. And the Star Wars show has had stuff on there and interviews. You know, we talked about the Ron Howard interview, I think, last week. This week, you know, Pablo Hidalgo, one of the keepers of the Holocron, he did a little walkthrough of the Millennium Falcon as well, similar to what Lando or Donald Glover did, you know, in Lando's Millennium Falcon. Which, by the way, when they're doing those walkthroughs in a Falcon, they are like Pablo Hidalgo has talked about it specifically this last Star Wars show. He said that in all the previous movies, the Falcon was never in one piece. Like, you couldn't walk from one room to another. Like, when you film those scenes, you filmed it in like this set, you know, with the, you know, basically the main seating area with the chessboard, and or you film the cockpit or whatever. Apparently, the one that's built right now, you can walk from stem to stern and be in the Falcon the whole time.
Oh, it is all one piece.
It's all one thing, and you can tell that when you're watching these videos. So I think that's been pretty cool. But that's really, I've really tried to stay away from anything that's talking about, you know, it came out of cans and people. I haven't even really looked at any reviews even, because I kind of want to walk into this like, you know, we had such low expectations. I mean, rewind months, three months ago, or even less. I mean, prior to the Super Bowl, prior to the trailer coming out, we had so little expectations of this movie. And now my expectations have risen to a point where I feel like there's potential to really enjoy this movie.
Yes.
And which is a little scary, you know, to be honest with you. But that's where I'm at. I mean, I think that watching the trailers and everything else, it makes me feel like I want to go see this movie, and that's exactly where we should be with a Star Wars movie. I mean,
right. And I think the whole theme of all of this, of Solo and all of the shit that we've gone through, expectations and whatnot, the theme is basically curb your expectations. Don't go into this thing thinking you're going to be blown away and thinking it's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Just go in there looking to just have a nice, enjoyable experience. Don't take it too seriously, and just, like I said, just have fun and take it in for what it is.
Well, and thank you, Last Jedi, for teaching us that.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, if you get anything out of Last Jedi, like what I know, again, we've talked about this at length, but with Last Jedi, it was, you know, we went into it, we talked about it every fucking week for like a month nonstop. We talked about what we thought was going to happen in Last Jedi. And then when it really came down to it and it wasn't what we thought it was going to be, we were disappointed.
Yeah.
And then it took subsequent viewings, at least for me, it took subsequent viewings for me to enjoy the movie. You know, not only appreciate the movie, but to enjoy it.
Sure.
And that's, I think what you said is 100% accurate. If you go in there with this, you know, with really high expectations of what you think you're going to see, then you're ultimately going to be disappointed. Now, the good news is this is just like Rogue One. We don't really know there, because the place where they're coming from, we have no backstory.
Yeah.
So we don't have anything to go on. It's not like leading into Last Jedi where we analyzed every single fucking nook and cranny, 3 novels of Aftermath, Phasma, all this fucking shit that we did to get ready for Last Jedi. We don't have any of that with Solo. So we're able to go into this with pretty clean slate. And I think that's why the you know, maybe not the stress level, it's not really the right word, but the expectation level, like it could be reasonable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's what basically it boils down to, is we're not taking this too seriously, and I think that's going to help. I think it's going to help when we actually go and watch it. there might be some cheesy, corny shit in there. There might be some dumb shit that we don't like.
Yeah, there's of course there is, but there's going to be some dialogue that we're just like, ugh. And we're probably really, you know, I'm hoping that the guy playing Solo is going to grow on me. He seems to, like, in the red carpet interviews and stuff like that I did see online, like, he does seem to give it the appropriate amount of respect. And I think, you know, the other thing is too, we know what a young Harrison Ford looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you can't, again, managing expectations. This is a different guy. This isn't Harrison Ford. It's the same thing with Donald Glover as Lando. Which, by the way, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fucking. Let's talk about the burn up power supply in the back of the room.
Yeah.
So this whole thing came out, and I'm sure everyone's, you know, they're not talking really in the chat, but everybody that's seen the movie seen the on social media is a story that's come out from one of the writers
it came from Jonathan Kasdan, who is Lawrence Kasdan's son,
right?
Who Lawrence basically let his son help co-write the script officially, right? So take that for what it's worth. First of all,
well, I mean, he was important in the development of the movie for sure, but
if you say so. Honestly, I think the only reason he has the fucking job is because of who his dad is. And
I've seen interviews where I feel like that's probably not accurate, but regardless, it doesn't really even if we didn't know who said it.
Okay.
So there's a link in the notes. It's from the Huffington Post, whatever. It's basically what it's saying is that Lando's character is, what is it? Pansexual.
Which is bisexual, but they made up all these new fucking words for fucking different forms of sexuality and genders and all that. He's fucking bisexual the way it's described.
As Bronco Fett said, Panlando.
Yeah, so let's first take this from the source. This all started from this fucking Huffington Post interview, right?
Right.
So they're interviewing him about the movie, and they asked him. It's not like he came out and said, "Yes, I've decided Lando is going to be this." No, they fucking asked him. They're like, "Oh, so what's the deal with Lando's sexuality? You know, he's said things that sound kind of like flirty towards Han and all that." And they were the ones who were pushing that button. And then Jonathan's like, "Oh yeah, well, I've decided he's a pansexual for whatever," and because you got to remember, Huffington Post is a super liberal fucking outlet, and of course they're going to try to push this fucking agenda that they have. Which
you're kidding?
No, it's I know you're shocked, but
well, so here's my take on it. All right, here's Dave Martin's fucking take on it. For one, I think, and this is, you know, we had a text exchange about it, and I still stand by it. This was something that we didn't need to know. Right. We knew Lando would flirt with a fucking Colt 45. It's a dynamite taste. I queued myself up for that one. He would flirt with a can of beer. He's flirting with droids. He's flirting with fucking aliens. He's, you know, whatever. That's his personality type. And I think there was like scuttlebutt about the relationship between him and L337.
Which that's just fucking weird.
Like, in relationship, we don't even know. Like, all we know is that they have, like, the way they interact with each other. You know, it could have been like a Futurama style fucking. They took somebody's fucking, you know, human head and put it on a robot.
Sure.
You know, whatever. Wherever the personality came from, how he interacts with that's how he interacts. That's how he does his business, you know? So this was one of those things where we didn't need an explanation for it.
No.
People were talking about it, and the people that were talking about it wanted this to be the explanation. They wanted this to be like, they want to take the opportunity to, you know, step up on their social media platforms, and they wanted to be social media activists and say, like, oh, well, this is why this is being done. The problem I have even with that, I don't give a shit fucking, it doesn't hurt anybody to make this statement. It doesn't hurt the character. We know Lando's Lando, right? I have a problem with so many people like going and flipping completely the fucking opposite direction, where it's like, and even you did it a little bit. It was like, this is fucking Disney. This is all Disney's fault.
Well,
it's not Disney. It's not. This is, you're telling me that the guy that you think is really didn't have much to do with writing this movie,
Jonathan Kasdan, who got the job because of his daddy, yes,
right, and his daddy, who also wrote what movie?
Empire Strikes Back, and I think he also wrote Force Awakens too, didn't he, Lawrence Kasdan?
I can't confirm that right now off the top of my head, because it doesn't make my point.
He did, yeah.
Anyway. But so Lawrence Kasdan's been involved with Star Wars basically since almost the beginning, right? He's the one who fucking put Lando in Kryptonite, or introduced us to Lando and put Han in Kryptonite or Carbonite. Fuck me. Anyway. What his kid says, that's not, I don't think that's Kathleen Kennedy direction saying that, okay, this is what this character needs to be. I think this clown just fucking said it because it was an opportunity to fucking say something and pander to a particular audience.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all it is. Again, this has no effect to me on the movie. It has no effect to me on the fucking franchise.
Right. And well, and
I'm looking at the chat. So, plot twist: Rey is Han, and Lando's abandoned adopted daughter. Han and Lando used to be drunks.
I think the timeline is off for that.
Potentially. And then he sold her for gambling money. I mean, that could be a real thing.
No, but all right, let me just throw something in there. Like, we've mentioned they've already had like gay characters in the Star Wars universe. We talked about it with what's his name, Singer from Aftermath, and even Timmons' aunt from Aftermath. They've introduced gay characters into this new canon already. I don't give a shit about that. When we talked about it, it was because it was part of the story, right? Singer, he didn't really fit in with the way the Empire wanted their people to be, because they wanted their people to be breeders. They wanted them to, procreate, make more little Imperials.
Right.
And that didn't really jive with his lifestyle. And that's one of the reasons why he left. That was all part of the plot. That all made sense. That all made sense for the story. But in the Star Wars movies, I don't know if we've said this on the show or not, but I've mentioned this before. In the Star Wars movies, only twice in the, what have we seen, 11 movies now, has it actually fucking made a difference what somebody's sexuality was? And that was with fucking Han and Leia and with Anakin and Padme. That was the only time in the Star Wars universe that anybody's sexuality even mattered. Because quite frankly, we don't know what anybody else's orientation is.
Right. Except
for Lando, because I agree with Bronco Fett. This is a stupid retcon they're doing to his character. Because quite frankly, you watch Empire, Lando was all about the pussy.
Oh, okay?
Yeah. He wanted to bang Leia hard.
Yeah, there's no fucking doubt. And it's... Again,
and my thing is,
I'm willing to bet. I put money down on the fucking soundboard that it's not going to matter in this fucking movie either.
No, I don't think so either.
It has everything to do with, because I guarantee he's flirting with fucking Dragon Broad. What's her name? Emilia
Clarke. Yes,
he's flirting with fucking. There's like 3 or 4 other female characters that are in there.
Yeah,
that are in the movie looking good. I guarantee you, Lando's on that shit. Yeah, he's on everything. That's just what he is.
And that is my
I don't need a fucking
I have with this.
I don't need to assign a fucking label to it. I don't really give a shit.
Exactly. And I don't either. Like, I don't care if you introduce a gay character and even into the cinematic portion. I don't care. If it's important to the story, then great. Then fucking do it. Have your LGBTYN SUV in the movies. I don't give a shit. As long as it doesn't distract from the story, as long as it's just not you making this statement strictly for the fact of making the statement. If it's,
and that's the thing. The problem with this story is that it's a story.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And like I said, I didn't need it. I didn't need that explanation. I didn't need Huffington Post to say, hey, what's the deal with Lando fucking flirting with a robot? Well, it's because of his sexuality. No, it's not. It's because he's a fucking flirt. It's just like, Anyway, we spent way too much time on this anyway, and
yeah, it's been out there. This just broke like yesterday or the day before, so I figured we'd address it. But
no, absolutely, it definitely had to talk about it. But I just, like I said, I think it's something that's taken in only the only people that are really concerned about what Lando's sexuality is the people that want to make it into, part of their social media activism.
Right. Yeah. Like either on one side or the other, right? It's like the people on this side are, Lando's
But what if Lando wasn't? Would it make a difference in
people? It wouldn't, and that's the point.
It doesn't make any fucking sense to even bring it up. It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. Like I said, Lando, we could have had the first fucking scene of this movie with Lando holding up a can of Colt 45 going like, oh, this is the sexiest thing I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, okay, that's Lando.
Yeah, and I'll close the discussion.
Oh. No, we can't close the discussion yet. I just got it. I got a message from my wife.
Oh boy!
Right now, that basically said Jason can suck a bag of dicks.
What did I do?
I don't know. It was great though. It's not even. I don't even know how it showed up. It showed up on my computer. It didn't show up on my phone. Very weird. Anyway,
you'll have to find out more details because I have no idea what she's referring to. Anyway, like I said, it doesn't really matter. And if they want to have gay characters in Star Wars, then just introduce a brand new one. Don't fucking retcon a pre-existing character that we already know about. And just one other thing, this is what I was going to close the conversation on. We don't know what anybody else's sexuality is, and we don't have to. Like, Luke Skywalker could be fucking gay for all we know in the new canon. But you know what? We don't know because it's not relevant to the fucking story.
Right.
And that's all I will say about that.
Until episode 9. And then it might be relevant.
Well, he's fucking dead, so it doesn't matter. Because apparently he can't make himself a Force ghost across the universe and survive. Anyway.
So moving on.
Yes. So doing the whole research for this whole Lando story, I came across another article that addressed it. It was from a publication called The Root, which I think, don't misquote me, but I think it might be like an African-American publication. So, but I just happened to stumble across this article.
I so hope that's not true, Jason. Well, hey, somebody in the chat, Google the Root.
It's theroot.com. Anyway, they had a funny quote in that article that I just wanted to read because I thought it was hilarious, because you can tell this person is not actually a Star Wars fan. But they were addressing the whole Lando thing. And the quote is, Solo, a Star Wars story, takes place in a galaxy far, far away in a universe with talking teddy bears and sentient, sexy robots. Which, what the fuck? And the heroes are a cult of magical space wizards who commit genocide in order to restore balance to the universe. The idea that humans would have sex only with other humans, let alone other humans of the opposite sex, is just ridiculous. So clearly this person is not a big Star Wars fan. Like, what sexy robots are in Star Wars? I have never seen a single droid that has any.
Well, I guess we're going to have one, at least the voice will be sexy.
Still, I've seen L3. There's not much there to look at. But yeah, no, I thought this.
We haven't seen her on the big screen, Jason. We haven't seen her on the big screen. We have to give her a chance.
Yeah.
Aren't you the one who told me that, hey, there's sex robots out there? So it's kind of,
Oh, I'm sure there are, but anyway, but that made me think that last line, the idea that humans would have sex only with other humans, let alone other humans of the opposite sex, is ridiculous.
Right. So we've got fact checking as we speak. Isaac Sipe. It's quote, Black News, Opinions, Politics, and Culture. So
okay,
right.
So I was right. Yeah. Well, because later
on, I don't know why you would it's just you would have automatically went to that.
Well, because later on in the article, I read some more stuff and it made it all clear. But anyway, why haven't we seen any crossbreed species in the Star Wars universe? Why haven't we seen different species mate with others and see the product of their their cross species breeding. Like, why haven't we seen any like half human, half Twi'leks, or like a half Rhodian, half fucking Chiss or something like that?
So the only thing I can say to that is wait. we have episodes of Rebels that we have to watch. We have episodes of Clone Wars we have to watch. And I will say that you're going to get an opportunity to see at least once.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to ruin anything. I don't want to spoil anything, because it's actually, as we were talking about Rebels before, we're getting to a point in Rebels where like every episode is getting a little bit better, and there's relevancy to some of that stuff. So I'm not gonna spoil any of that, but it's definitely possible. I mean, especially with the Twi'leks, because they're supposed to be like the sexiest beings in the galaxy. So yeah, so more to follow on that as far as that particular comment, but
there was just something I thought about as I was reading this article.
It's definitely not something that they make like super prolific, because for whatever reason, I don't know why they wouldn't, especially I don't know, like especially with a crew, like think of I don't know. I'm just going to leave it there. We'll come back to this, that we talked about this at this point, when we get to an episode where it's like, oh, okay, hey, look, there's our first one, because you'll know. Yeah,
remember when I asked that question months ago? Well, there you go.
Yep.
So, all right. We could talk about the Rotten Tomato stuff a little bit. Apparently, there's fears that people are going to review bomb Solo, because I guess there's a big movement out there of people who do not want to see it succeed, because they think, like me, that Kathleen Kennedy is just completely ruining the Star Wars saga with the way she's going about her business. And now I am not the type of person that wants to like see Solo fail, because I am still more of a positive Star Wars fan, and I just want the movie to be fucking good. Right. But a lot of people are like, there are campaigns to not see the fucking movie, review bomb the movie so that it fails, and so Kathleen Kennedy eventually gets fired, which ain't gonna fucking happen.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that.
There's a couple. I don't think there's any basis in that at all. I mean, the amount of people that you'd have to actually do that. I mean, you might get a little spike in the reviewing, and then all the people that have seen it that do like it are going to override all that shit. The mean is going to come out of it one way or the other.
Right. But if you ask Disney, just a handful of right-wing trolls can completely tank the reviews for The Last Jedi, because that's clearly the only way that would have gotten bad reviews.
Well, what's it sitting at around Rotten Tomatoes right now?
What, Solo?
No.
Oh, fucking Last Jedi? I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Last Jedi. Oh, look at that. I've already Googled this before.
Shocking.
Yeah. So it's 91% for reviewers and 46% for the audience. So, and it's funny because Solo, and we've talked at length about our thoughts on Last Jedi. Solo right now is only sitting at a 71% with critics, which I actually like, because clearly I do not fucking trust critics' reviews anymore after the whole Last Jedi bullshit. So I'm not putting any stock in that number whatsoever. I'm much more interested in user reviews, like your average people on the street.
What the fuck was that?
People throwing stuff at you?
Yeah, my wife. What the hell?
She's still mad at me for something?
Yeah, apparently. It says on here, Jason sucked a bag of dicks.
What did I do?
I don't know. I'm curious to find this out.
And why did she write that on a bag of carrots?
I don't know. Like, carrots went everywhere. What the fuck?
Okay.
Obviously, now this is apparently a bag of dicks, so it's not like I'm going to be able to eat these. Got to save them for Jason. Anyway, fucking random.
What did I do, Mom? What did I do?
I don't know. Anything. Listen. The critics thing, I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I'm not a critic. I'm not being paid to review movies. Not being paid to do this. How I feel about the movie is how I feel about the movie.
Mhm.
Period. Dot. And sometimes it's going to take multiple viewings for me to feel one way or the other about the movie,
Sure.
like it was for The Last Jedi. So, well, I don't really care what one critic came out of, seeing Solo premiere. It doesn't affect me at all. I really don't give a shit.
Yep.
What I do think is that if people really want to go in there and just ratings bomb this thing, they're still going to see it. It's still going to make money. Like, and that's the thing. Like, that's like, unless you're just not going to see the movie and decide you're going to fucking have the Russians hack fucking Rotten Tomatoes to alter, something, then it's not going to matter. People are there. It's going to make its money. People are going to see it, and there's going to be people that like it. I have this sneaky suspicion. We can even segue into this a little bit. I have a sneaky suspicion I'm going to enjoy this movie. I think there's going to be.
I was actually thinking the same thing.
There's going to be a lot of flying. There's going to be I'm really, really looking forward to Donald Glover's performance in this. I feel like it's going to be everything that he said in interviews and just how he seems to be carrying himself. He's not doing an overly he's not doing a Billy D. Williams impression. He's doing his interpretation of what Lando was at that time.
Yeah.
I like everything they're doing. All the intensity of some of the flying scenes and all that other shit, the stuff that was what drives me into the movie theater. All that stuff looks really, really good. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to it. My expectations for it to be for me to come out of the movie theater going I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Now, and then the discussion after that's going to be what does it mean for Star Wars?
Right.
I think that's where we're we can go in there and say, wow, we really enjoyed this movie, but just like Rogue One, what does this actually do for Star Wars?
Well, I think
do for the story.
Rogue One served a purpose, and I think it added to the Star Wars universe. I don't know how much Solo is going to actually add to the whole lore of the Star Wars universe. I really feel like this is just going to be the ultimate side story. Sure, it was probably kind of fun, but it had no relevance to the overall, or it's going to have no relevance to the overall Star Wars saga. Whereas Rogue One was pretty important.
Sure, Rogue One, the way that they did it, it had that deliberate effect of going and moving into the minutes that leading up to A New Hope. So that's how it kind of inserted itself into that. But otherwise, had that not happened, it would have just been a random battle taking place on another random place. Here's this band of rebels doing stuff in parallel with other bands of rebels, and they just happen to all fucking die because the Death Star blew them up. Yeah. And I'm not a huge Rogue One fan, so take that for what it's worth. But the Bye Scott Rasmussen, he said he's got to go. The reality is that this is supposed to be a side project. Solo is supposed to be a side movie. And I don't think it's meant to really answer questions about what's happening in the the main canon, the main timeline. Sure. I just don't think it is.
Yeah.
Don't throw anything.
Ask her what she's so upset about.
Why are you so upset at Jason? She's not coming. I thought she was coming down the steps to throw something again. God damn it! There's all this equipment that's over here.
Yeah. Anyway,
you're throwing fucking carrots.
So
or bags of dicks. Bags of orange dicks.
Is this a new bag or is this the same one?
No, same bag.
Okay, so going back to the Lawrence Kasdan thing, I did look him up on IMDb real quick, and yes, he wrote Empire. Apparently, he also wrote portions of Return of the Jedi. He wrote Force Awakens, and then of course he's written Solo. You know what he was not involved in all these Star Wars movies? He was not involved in the fucking prequels. Or in The Last Jedi. So think about that. Of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Star Wars movies that have been made. He has written all of the good ones and not the 4 shitty ones. shitty being relative. You know, there's positive things in both The Last Jedi and the prequels, but let's face it, they are the bottom of the barrel as far as
right. Well, after
Star Wars
Solo,
movies that were made.
after Solo, we'll have our rehack of the
right
of the movies, and we can talk about that a little bit more. But
yeah,
I agree that Lawrence Kasdan does have he has a very, very good idea of what this universe is about and what these characters are. And you know, better than most.
And he's been involved with some of the best installments. And and don't forget, Ron Howard directing this thing. We're talking Ron Howard, who directed fucking Apollo 13, Ransom, which was a great movie. I loved Backdraft. I don't know if you ever saw Backdraft.
Oh yeah,
he fucking directed Backdraft, the Da Vinci Code. We've talked about this in previous episodes.
Yeah.
But he made some really good movies, and he reshot a good portion of this movie. So
you can't understate the fact that, like, even at the red card, now I keep looking over there because I'm expecting something to come flying at me because of you. God damn it! Because of you.
What did I do?
I don't know. She's not alluding. There's no message traffic.
Yeah.
There's some interesting conversation happening in the chat.
Yeah, I was looking at that too.
Anyway, started having a Yuuzhan Vong conversation. Like,
yeah.
It's for a whole nother podcast, Bronco Fett.
The point I was making was the pieces are in place for a good movie. Good director, good writer who's written a lot of the more successful Star Wars movies. So we've got potential here to have an enjoyable movie.
No, and I was trying to say before, like, getting startled again by what's over there, we can't discount the connection between Ron Howard and George Lucas too.
Yeah.
And the relationship they have, even like at the red carpet, you know, George Lucas being there. That's again, as we talk about our expectations and managing them, obviously, but I just, you know, at the bottom line of the whole thing is, I think we're going to enjoy this. We're going to enjoy this movie because our expectations are low. It's going to have zero effect on what happens later on. So we don't have to worry about that. I mean, there might be a small conversation about, you know, the potential Lando spinoffs and things like that. Excuse me.
Oh yeah, there's tons of talk about that. People are saying if this movie is going to be successful, there's immediately going to be a Lando spinoff movie put into production.
Yeah, which I'm sure Donald Glover would love that. I mean, really,
I don't know if it's wishful thinking or if there's any validity to those rumors, but
well, and there's Lando comics that are out there that maybe could, you know, play on some of the there's some storylines with that. I can't look at the chat.
Yeah,
there's just some random shit going on with everyone in the chat.
But before we close out, because we are getting close to time again, I do want to have some interaction with the people in the chat, because I want to play a little bit of Solo cameo bingo. I want to know, like, who we think you're going to see cameos from, because if you go into this movie and don't think that you're not going to see some cameos from other well-known Star Wars characters in this galaxy, you're out of your fucking mind, because you know they're going to shoehorn in at least a couple of people. So I threw a couple of thoughts in the notes of some people we might see cameos from. I want to hear from some people in the chat and from you too, Dave. Like, one rumor that I've heard pretty heavily was Vader, another Vader cameo somewhere. And so I don't know how that would work in the storyline, since it's really the Empire isn't involved at all, from what I can tell in this, besides Solo wanting to be in the Empire in the beginning.
I mean, if you're going to have it in any place, like while he's at the Academy, I mean, that might be the place to do a cameo like that. There's also, like, I was watching one of the things on StarWars.com. It had, you know, they're talking about the costuming, like all these Imperial officers in costume, and pot time. It was about the breadwinner bit.
That was more of a compliment to her.
I agree. She, you know, maybe she's defending my honor. I don't know, but it's a factually correct statement. So, anyway, we'll debate that further. But so if you're asking me about the
cameos, who do you think is going to cameo in this movie? Because you know it's going to happen.
I think that you're going to get just I'm looking at this list here, and you've got fucking Lumpy on there, and fuck you, fuck you.
Well, we know
all of
Mala's
you.
in it, so I mean, Mala's in it.
Do
already,
you?
so-
Do you know who that is? You don't.
Yes,
You don't know. There's no confirmation. Go on IMDb right now. Does it have the other fucking Wookiee? Hang on. Let's fucking do that right now.
If it does, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
Oh fuck. Oh god.
Oh yeah, I'm going now.
Probably like honestly, out of all those
So
people, I think it'd be easy to sneak Vader in there. But I think Boba Fett. I think you're gonna get like a glimpse into the bounty hunter world, like when all these things are happening and these jobs as they happen, and we're trying to, see these people as, I don't know, these nefarious characters.
Right.
I think,
yeah. Kind of working jobs in the underworld and whatnot.
You're gonna get a Mandalorian, standing in the background, kind of like in Jabba's palace. Think of it that way.
Yeah.
But oh, fucking Bronco Fett. I see. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, it never ends. Stir, whip, stir, whip, 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 stir, stir, whip, stir, whip. Anyway.
Now you really can suck a bag of dicks, honestly.
I might as well, have fun with this. If I'm going to be in the doghouse anyway, I might as well enjoy it. But yes, Boba Fett, I agree. I think we definitely might see him because he's got that history with Han, obviously some interaction with Lando, and he was introduced in fucking Empire Strikes Back for the most part, except the holiday special.
If you can call it that.
So he was introduced cinematically by Lawrence Kasdan. So I mean, I think it only makes sense. And then I really have a feeling we're gonna get something from Jabba the Hutt. If not like an actual cameo, then at least a mention of him. Like
Han. How does Han come into service of Jabba?
Right.
I think that's an obvious one. I think the Hutts are prolific throughout this whole thing, especially if they're in those areas of space. Not necessarily on Tatooine, but like they could be in a Hutt controlled area, where all the gambling and everything else is going on. It seems to be a big part of the what the storyline is going to be.
Yeah.
So,
and I put one in here because if we do see this, if they do this, I don't know if they're going to be this fucking corny, but if they throw a young Leia in there, I'm going to be super fucking pissed because
I don't think they'll do that. I
don't either, but
too hard to do. I think that's a bridge too far. They already have all these other female characters like this. They're gonna have to develop this Emilia Clarke character and what the relationship is with Han.
Oh, sure.
And through all that, they're not gonna have time to bring a fucking Leia even into the picture. So
my thing was, like they just happen to be in the same spaceport at the same time, and Han just like sees her from the back walking away to her fucking blockade runner and going, "Ooh, I like her," nod, wink, wink. It would be cheesy as hell. I just hope they don't do something like that.
Yeah, I agree. Isaac Sipe, listed Boba Fett as one of them. He also said Lobot.
That would make sense because we don't know shit about him, or at least I don't, as far as what I've read and seen.
Yeah, I think I looked him up the last time at Wikipedia. But we know that there was a thing. And again, this is all like none of this is spoilers, but if you watch the Star Wars show, Pablo Hidalgo, when he's in the Falcon in Lando's room, there's like these models. Like one of the models is of the Falcon, and there's a model of like Cloud City that he has. It's like in the wall. It's almost like a prize thing of things that like maybe he's won or whatever. He like keeps some representation, like as an egomaniac. Like, yeah, this is mine, bitch. Yeah. So with the Cloud City, kind of hidden reference in there in the Falcon, and Lobot being part of the administration of Cloud City, maybe Lobot would make sense. So I would agree with that. Sure. So Bronco Fett just being an instigator, we've got probably he lists Dengar. as one.
Dengar. Well, I could see that.
Fucking Dengar, man. They give him
just.
They make him such like a real character in some of the books, and in some of the other episodes of other things. The problem with Dengar is that I can't see him as anything but Robot Chicken Dengar.
Right.
So it's like I can't take this guy seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gives us an obligatory Snoke, which would be interesting. Be interesting if they tried to do something like that. I can't see Lawrence Kasdan doing something like that, though. Honestly. And by the way, I don't see any other fucking Wookiees listed on this goddamn.
No, I scrolled through it. I didn't see anybody.
So it's going to be a surprise, apparently.
Yeah. Another one I was thinking could have a cameo would be Tarkin, because we've already seen one CG Tarkin that was done really well.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention this during the fucking Rebels show.
Yeah.
Tarkin, the guy who voices Tarkin in Rebels in the show is the same guy that did the voice for Tarkin in Rogue One.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I looked that up after I watched Rebels. I'm like, man, that guy sounds really good. He sounds just like the guy who did the voice for Tarkin in fucking Rogue One. IMDb. Oh, sure enough, it's the same motherfucker.
Nice.
So
fucking
I like that continuity.
Man. Thank God.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Just look everything up.
All right. I just saw Lumpy in the fucking chat. I'm done with the chat. Yes. So anyway, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what cameos pop up. You're going to get another gratuitous cantina scene, obviously, because they're going to like sit down at a card table and play cards against each other. So there's going to be a lot of extra fucking humanoids and things like that, extra alien life. I don't really have anything else to say about Solo, but before we run out of time, how serious? This is a sidebar, because I'm on Facebook scrolling around, and all my Star Wars shit pops up first, and there's a lot of fucking smoke about an Obi-Wan standalone. Haven't heard shit from a legit, like a completely 100% legitimate source, but
yeah, nobody from Lucasfilm or Disney has said shit about it.
But it seems to me that people want a fucking Obi-Wan standalone, and I don't understand it. Please, somebody fucking explain to me what we need to know about Obi-Wan Kenobi.
We know so much about him already. We know about, like, we got 3 movies of him in the prequels.
Yep, we got the entire fucking prequels. We've got, then the end of his life, and then his ghost life, after the fact. So, again, like we talked about in a previous podcast, are we going to fucking, see Obi-Wan at Anakin's age, when they first find him? I mean, like, how much younger can you fucking go? And even still, like, in the comics, we just talked about it in the last episode. Yep. The Obi-Wan journals. Like, do you want to make that into a standalone movie? The Obi-Wan journals. I mean, okay, because we have that stuff in the comics, and it would probably make for a good movie. But again, it doesn't really add anything to our universe.
Right.
It'd be 100% fucking fan servicing, and I don't like that. It may turn out good, and if they decide they're going to do that, then what the fuck? It's a complete money grab, because Obi-Wan's a fucking popular character, and if Ewan McGregor does it, people are going to lose their fucking minds. Like, oh my god, it'll make more money than Solo in 15 minutes.
Oh, I agree, but at the same time, it's just we don't need it.
It's not necessary. It's not necessary.
We don't need it at all.
Especially we're gonna have to figure out what fucking Jon Favreau's doing and his whole fucking series, and you're at just.
Well, and don't forget, you've got the Game of Thrones guys too making what did they say? They're making a series of movies for the streaming service.
I think they're making a trilogy,
possibly,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so we've got so many different moving parts. We've seen 15 minutes.
What time do we start?
17:25 your time.
Okay. 10 minutes.
Yeah. 10 minutes. All right. But yeah, no, I agree. No need for an Obi-Wan story. It's probably going to happen. Realistically, they're probably going to do it. It's just, I don't fucking care. honestly.
It's not even that I don't care, because like I said, we talked about it before. The Kenobi book was really, really good. You know, the Kenobi, I like the Kenobi stuff that's happening on Tatooine. I like the idea of figuring out, you know, through a novelization or whatever, like this is what was going on Tatooine. But having an entire fucking movie about it, I think it's completely unnecessary. And for all of you people out there, all you want to do is just fucking see Ewan McGregor in a fucking movie, then go rent something else. Didn't he have to do a fucking documentary about riding motorcycles across fucking Africa or some fucking bullshit? Go watch that.
I've never heard of such a thing, but okay.
Apparently, I'm on Facebook too much.
Yeah. So before we close this out, you have no final thoughts on Solo?
No, my final thought on Solo is I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's my final thought. I'm excited. Because we're all going to get to sit together. Hopefully we'll be able to get to review it, kind of segue into that. We might even get a chance to sit in the studio and fire up the
ideally, that's what I'd love to do. Yeah.
So work the timing in so we could get that done.
I'm just looking forward to the experience, you know, like it's going to be me and my whole family, you guys, if Kathy is speaking to me by then.
Well, we'd have the seating arrangement, so we'll just make sure you guys aren't sitting next to each other so she's not throwing bags of dicks at you.
Well, I just don't see why there has to be any animosity at all. Like, I mean, first of all, I feel like I've done nothing wrong.
We'll figure it out. Well, Jason, you saying that just makes things worse. Remember.
Kristen hates when I say that too.
Do we need to bring up Mother's Day?
No, we do not.
So when you say these words, you're only making things worse for yourself. So.
I just like poking the bear sometimes. It's just
you just can't help it. I know you.
I mean, I'm down in Mississippi. What else am I going to do? You know, there's only so many hours I can go to the gym a week. So
is there, Jason? So as we sign off, I wanted to give everyone a heads up out there. Bronco Fed a Star Wars story. There's a whole Mando.
I would watch that.
There's a whole Mando story that I think it can be explored. But this is breaking news. So in correspondence with Jason's working out and taking pictures and everything and representing the podcast while he's working out, I have gotten. We created a new logo. You've been on social media. You've seen it. The whole purpose of creating a new logo was to be able to get get t-shirts made again and, get and start getting stuff online. Well, as of this afternoon, we officially are back up and running. We have, it's teespring.com/stores/allthings SW pod. If you go to the store, there's a variety of items that you can buy on there. T-shirts, sweatshirts, long sleeve shirt, a fucking tank top, so you can go into the gym and take your fucking. You can take a selfie, a compare and contrast selfie.
I'm doing that shit. Yep,
right up against Jason, and we'll regram that somehow. I know that's a thing. But yeah, so the store is up and running. It went. Never got any kind of rejection for trademark or anything else because of the new logo and everything. My wife was mentioning, because we have the All Things Star Wars website, it kind of goes straight down the back. The site is weird, like how it sets up their t-shirt stuff. So this is the initial run. We can come up with more designs later, but this is a way to get our stuff out there, and a way you can support the show. And
stupid question. Do we get a cut of that at all? Like, does any portion of the proceeds actually go to the podcast, or does Teespring keep it all?
As a matter of fact, it does. The way it's set up is that the Teespring, when you set up the store, it has like a recommended, like, how much money do you kind of want to make? And I set everything out to the default. So I wasn't like, oh, I want to fucking rape everyone that listens to our show and wants to buy something. Yeah. No, I think the prices are fairly reasonable based on whatever. If the stuff doesn't sell, I think we can change it. I don't know, but it's our first foray really into this, to get some merchandise out to everybody. I tried it once. It fucking kicked us out with the logo. So this is our other chance to get in there and If you want to go in there and buy something, it says like the store, like if you're watching right now, if you're Bronco Fett and you're if you're Bronco Fett and you're listening right now and you're like, I want a fucking shirt. First of all, you're still going to get a shirt from me anyway, because I still got a box of shirts that we got to offload. So
yeah.
But if you want to support the show and buy one of the shirts off the site, all that money basically we're going to turn right back into the studio.
Oh yeah.
And because we definitely have upgrades we want to do. I haven't yet begun any construction in the studio because I've been working at home here so much. And we're coming out of hibernation and the weather's actually nice, so I can take stuff out of the studio and not necessarily have to worry about it getting snowed on.
Right.
So yeah, honestly, it's to help us make your experience better. Get some technology upgrades and do things in the studio, more video stuff, bring more seat positions for guests and microphones and, all the little stuff that we're paying for out of our pocket, a couple of shekels from each one of the transactions comes back to us and then we're able to use that. So, so nice. Go to teespring.com/stores/allthingsswpod. Should have put it in the notes. It'll end up in the show notes for when Jason releases the audio.
Yes.
And they do have water bottles. I don't know if I can add that to the store now, but if you have suggestions for things you want to see, like I said, go check out the store. If you have suggestions, let us know via social media and follow us on Facebook, All Things Star Wars Pod. Follow us on Twitter, All Things SW Pod. Follow us on Instagram at All Things Star Wars Pod, and all the blah 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 blah, all the other stuff. Because we're getting close on time.
Yeah, we got 3 minutes.
One last thing. This is for everybody out there. Jason's coming back. I'm picking him up from the airport while he's in transit, and I'm picking up from the airport and everything else. We're not seeing it on Thursday night like we usually do. We brought this up in the last episode, so no fucking spoilers. No spoilers. We're going to be calm out until we see the movie. So
on Friday night,
pretty please with sugar on it. Clean the fucking car. No.
Yes, I knew you were going to say that.
No spoilers for the movie. Hopefully everybody that's going out there to see it their first night, you can hold it in, wait for our recording. We'll let everybody know when we're going to record so we can get some really good interaction on the chat and do that. But please, pretty please. No
Don't
spoilers.
spoil the fucking movie.
Exactly.
Especially those of you in our private Facebook group.
Oh yeah, you motherfuckers, you be out.
Yeah, you will get the ban hammer right away. So, and that's that. I'm so excited to be coming home for the weekend. It's going to be nice.
Excited to see you, your buffness, and excited to see the movie. So it's going to be good. It's going to be a good weekend. Can't wait.
Yes. So very excited. High hopes for Solo, but not too high. The expectations are low, but I'm expecting to at least enjoy it, as you are too, I can tell.
Yep.
So with that, everybody, lower your expectations, go enjoy Solo, and Dave, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.